Shit moms won't say.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. You may recognize this lovely lady on the other side of my screen from making people laugh at places like the Knitting Factory, Comedy Cellar, Caroline's. I don't know, ever heard of those super cool places? I don't know, they don't really exist right now, but when they did exist, she was pretty funny there. You may also recognize her from having one of the largest social media platforms growing right now, MomCom NYC. That's right, she is a comic and funny as hell mom of two, Alyce Chan. Hello.
Hey, hi Jess. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. And I always love when it's like, so it's like this fake moment, right? Because like, and I talk about it all the time, like we chat before I start to record. Like I didn't just like press record and I'm like, oh my God, Alyce, you're here. And then I'm like, oh, yay, thank you for coming on. That's amazing. It's the first time I'm seeing you. You know, as if you're like walking onto my talk show set, but really, I'm jazzed that you're here, and I think we're gonna have a good time this evening because you are a funny lady. And before we kind of get into it, I think there's a reason why you're so funny. I think there's a reason why I'm so funny, and I think it's because we both have really.
You messed up? Oh, okay. Oh, that. Okay.
No, I mean the childhood trauma helped.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
But I think it's like we were talking about before we started filming, like the lighting, right? So it's really hard to get your lighting right for these kinds of things because I'm sitting in my office. I have overhead lighting. I have some shitty ring light. Like you got to get it right. Alice is sitting in her fucking closet. Like we're talking low budge. But what I said was the problem with the ring light is that it usually hits the fattest part of my face because I have this extraordinarily round head. Exactly. But I have no cheekbones. You have cheekbones. So it just hits this like fat pocket underneath my eyes. And then you said, no, you have a really nice shaped head. I have a really big head. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm going to call it out right now. I don't think so.
Well, to me, I think you have a very nice oval shaped head. And I envy people who have an oval shaped head because it's a universal face structure for any, you can wear any type of glasses. You can wear any type of hat. I mean, if you go online, there you go. You look so good in glasses. Me, I had to wear contact lenses because me square, flat, round. Okay, there's no such shape as squared, flat, round face.
There is. It's your face.
That's me. I'm so unique because I have that.
Yeah.
And okay, I don't want to. I do envy your forehead space.
Oh, thank you.
It's
I have a forehead. You know, that's like a.
You have a forehead,
Yeah.
and it's not too wide and it's not too high up. Now mine is wide and high up. Tara Banks made me feel more comfortable with big foreheads.
I love Tyra Banks so much.
Me too.
I'm so obsessed with her in a real unhealthy way, not a sexual way, just a really unhealthy. Like sometimes I'm sitting around, I'm like, what's Tyra doing right now? Like, is she being crazy?
Were you one of those crazy fans that would watch like America's Top Model when it first came out, and you were just like, I just loved how she gave advice. She's like, she would give like a card out. She's like, you're still in the top running. You just have to be a little more less nervous.
You gotta smile.
Yeah, like little tweaks. And I'm like, I love how she just delivers those little tweaks. Like
she's nuts. She's nuts. My wife and I scream at each other all the time. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you because we love Top Model.
Oh, I know. She's great. It's not on anymore, right?
No, now she's hosting Dancing with the Stars, which I guess that's cool, but I don't really give a shit about that show. I had Ginger Z on the show, which was cool because like she's cool and she was on Dancing with the Stars. So I've been watching a little bit, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I got bored with Dancing with the Stars quite quickly. But okay, so our heads cancel each other out, right? So you think you have a big head, I have a big head, and now we're both on screen. No one notices now, right? Only because we're talking about it, people are noticing it. But you and I should be canceling each other's big heads, right?
PEMDAS. Yeah. Yeah. I once had somebody come up to me and say, I love how round your head is. I'm gonna dribble it like a basketball.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. It's creepy. Who says that to another human being? I was like, do I
Okay.
take it off of my neck and dribble it?
Okay, one time, this is not supposed to be a racist comment, okay? I'm Chinese. I have a lot
You
of
are?
I am. I have a lot of Korean friends. My best friend is Korean, half Korean, and I get mistaken a lot. Like not everyone thinks or knows I'm Chinese, so they'll try to guess. Now, Koreans have a particular face shape.
Sure.
Dominantly, they have wider faces. Some have wider cheekbones and some just have really, bigger faces, right? So
Yeah.
big face comes with a big head. So I was in a cab and I got in and the driver was like, "What are you?" I get this question a lot. I don't know if you do, Jess. But I'm like,
what's your, or because people are very confused because I look very generic. Very. But
you
I
could
don't
look,
get like, what are you? I get like,
yeah.
what's your origin?
Yeah, like people probably think you're white.
I am. I'm white as hell.
Or Italian or Spanish or Jewish or Puerto Rican or half Chinese or I don't know. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the cab and he's like, "What are you?" And I'm like, "I'm American." And he goes, "No, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Canada and I moved to America like 4 years ago." And he goes, "No, no, no, like where your parents from?" I'm like, he goes, "You're Korean, right?" And I'm like, "Korean? Why are you saying I'm Korean? Why would you guess I'm Korean? Is it because I have a big head?" And he goes, "Yeah." He said yes. I let him drive me home anyway. I was like, okay.
All right, listen.
That's racist.
That's super racist. That's super racist. And that's what this show is all about. Racism. Listen, we're gonna talk about your big Asian head in a little bit, but right now yes, that's right. So we cancel each other out, and everybody watching, if you feel offended by how much space our heads take up on the screen, change the channel. Change the channel. That's right. The world's had enough. You should see us for who we are. Okay, let's get into the Big Mom 3 for Christ's sake.
But
First question, the Big Mom 3. Did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
no.
Me either.
No, I wasn't those little girls where I'm like, can I get a doll? I got animals. I want like a panda bear and I wanted like a bear, a cat. I think I wanted to be a vet. I didn't think I wanted to be a mom. I never played with Barbie dolls. I never played with dolls. I never had a stroller. Never wanted to like put a bottle in someone's mouth. No.
No,
Great question.
I thought all that shit was really lame. And I love being a mom, but I thought it was really, really lame when I was a kid. And up until like not that long ago, I thought it was really lame.
Oh, yeah. I like even in my 20s and even early 30s, I was like, if I married a guy and the guy really wanted to have a baby, maybe I'll try, but it wasn't like something like I dreamt of every day. It wasn't like my goal.
No.
Now that I am, oh my God.
Right, it's the best. It's totally the best. And I was like, I say to my wife all the time, because she's one of those like played with dolls, like has wanted to be a mom her whole life. I say to her, like, I can't believe how much I love this. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it at all.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love being a mom. My kid is so fun.
They're so fun.
So
like
fun.
I can laugh out loud now. They're older now. They're not babies anymore. But the things they say or do, I laugh out loud. And I don't like usually when I'll watch TV, it's something funny. I'll laugh inside. But my kids make me laugh out loud. And I like it's so genuine, it's such an authentic feeling. And you're like, oh, I made this. That means I am funny because he just made me laugh and I made you.
They're very validating.
Yeah. That's why I love them. They're so validating.
Need to be validated. So you have 2 kids. So just for the folks out there, what's the breakdown of your children? I know they're a little bit
breakdown. Yeah. They the one of them is 6 and the other one just turned 4. So they are almost 2 3/4 difference. Almost 3 years difference between them.
Very cute.
2 boys.
Very cute. Yeah. I love it. And they're fun.
And you have
I have my little baby angel Lily. Yep, my baby. She turned 1. And she's funny as fuck. She's so
cute.
Like I don't understand. Like people are like, well, babies don't really do anything. Like I think my kid has been funny since the second she was born. Like I'm with
Cute.
you. Like I laugh out loud at the shit that she does.
Right? Even like facial expressions, like when you feed
She
them
started, like,
lemon.
and she's like, so she copies a lot now. So like I'll look at her and I'll go, and she'll look back at me and she'll go, she's one.
So cute.
She's fun. She's fun.
She's
So
a genius. And she's very empathetic. If babies can't mimic your facial gestures,
well,
empathetic.
she's perfect. Empathetic and a genius. You heard it first. Alyce Chan said my daughter is both of those things. Okay. Big mom free question number 2. What is the shittiest or most backhanded piece of advice you've ever gotten from another mother or parent?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Uh, I think don't s- spoil them. No, that's I clearly didn't know this question was coming.
I gave you a dead silence. I just didn't know it was like don't spoil them. Period. I didn't know.
Backhanded comment. Okay, this you've probably heard this before. It's not really. It's a comment and advice, but soak it up right now because they're not going to be young forever. They're not going to be small forever. And I remember those nights where my first child, he was such an awful sleeper, woke up every 45 minutes and I was nursing him. And the next day I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And she's like, I miss those moments. When you're there feeding your baby at 4 a.m, just remember this is not going to last forever. And and that night, it was 4 a.m, and I looked at him and I said, thank God this is not going to last forever.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I hate that because I'm like, what are you trying to say? Soak it up. Enjoy every minute.
It's not possible and it's not fair. It's an unrealistic expectation to put on people because enjoying every minute, not every minute. And again, we just said you and I both love being moms. Not every minute of every day is wonderful. It's just not.
I my 4-year-old was having tantrums back to back today because he slept at 12:30 past midnight yesterday because he had a long nap. And then it spilled over to today where he didn't want a nap. So by 3 p.m. he was nasty and just inconsolable. And I just snapped and I was like, you better just stop that shit or I'm leaving. I didn't enjoy all 7 minutes of that when I was being a bitch.
No.
Oh, you're not gonna enjoy every minute of it. That's just throw that out the door.
That's toxic mom bullshit. Like that's literally what like started this show. Was that kind of like toxic, like you need to be a perfect mom and you enjoy every minute as a mom and like free your nipples and I don't know, eat your breast milk. Like shut up. Just let me be a mom.
But do people say that because they think it'll make you feel better? Because I feel like it's genuine coming from a good place, but it's just such a dumb thing to say.
I think if it's like a real mom, like a mom's mom, because there's a difference. There's moms and then there's like moms who give a shit about other moms. I think if it's coming from like a mom, it's almost intended to like make you feel a little bad. Like I've taken in every moment of my child and so should you. But like if somebody like you were to say to me like, oh man, like, oh, she's crawling around, like enjoy that. That's so fun. That's a little bit different than like enjoy every moment because it's, it goes so fast.
Yeah.
Like, don't miss it. When you blink, like I almost feel like it puts pressure on you to force yourself to be in the moment and then you end up missing it anyway.
Yeah. Right?
Moms are dumb.
So I think that's it. I hear it too often. Every time I say something like I'm tired or like, oh, there's so much to do. There's always going to be so much to do. This will go by really fast. I know that, bitch. I know that'll go by fast.
The amount of shit you have to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't all of a sudden like clean my house. It doesn't change her diaper. Like, I know, I get it. Like,
don't get me started on playing with my kid. Like, I almost fell asleep playing like Pokemon today. Like he was trying to make up rules. It was his first time playing. Yeah, like that is a little more fun than playing car crashing with my 4-year-old. Like he'll tell me, look, mom, look, and he crashes two of the cars, and I have to be really, really excited. Like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I can't keep doing that. And I did like 15 of them, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't care. I don't care about these two cars crashing. I don't want to get on the floor and crash with you. Do with your brother.
Well, listen, enjoy it because it's gonna fly.
I know.
Oh. Okay, question 3 of Big Mom 3. What is a skill or superpower you had before becoming a mom that's really helped you as a mom?
There's a couple things. I'm not gonna say because I'm funny. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because it's probably expected. That
Wow.
doesn't
Okay.
really help the
Hard
kids being
left. Yeah,
funny.
let's do it.
They don't notice it. I think confidence.
Okay.
And because I'm confident, I can be goofy and look silly and not worry about it. And it took a lot of work to get to the point where I'm like, I don't care if I look silly and
Yeah.
goofy. I'm not confident in a lot of aspects, like if you asked me to speak in a financial advisory board about mutual funds, I'm not going to be confident in that. But to be silly on the dance floor or to be on the playground or to talk to his friends and just like get down to their level and be really
Yeah.
goofy, I can do that. And I think the confidence, they can feel it from their mothers because I say things where it's not, I do watch what I say. Like I read a lot of articles and books to make sure I'm not going to scar them. And there's things that you might say with good intention, but you end up saying something that might be shameful, right?
Yeah.
So I think the confidence helps a lot because they're both really goofy. They will do what they want and they'll say what they want, and they don't feel embarrassed if I'll put like a really goofy outfit on my 6-year-old. He'll still think it's cool, and I'm like, yeah, man, you're cool. Like, and I think it just resonates. Like it just, they can feel it. They can feel the confidence in a mom, and that goes really far for sons because you're not leeching onto them. You're not like, I need you. Can you say you love me? Like you're good on your own. You're independent, and they feel they're independent and they have autonomy, but they know that you're close by. I think confidence does a lot, and being able to look goofy and silly and not worry about it because your kids have fun like that. They don't need to be so constrictive. The rules, there will be rules when you're in high school and when you're in adulthood, but as kids, let's not have that many boundaries. I want them to really, push the boundaries and
Yeah.
explore.
It's true. I had actually my first ever episode of the show. I had a friend of mine on, and her son is now, I think he's 25. Shout out Emily Nadler. I love you forever. But she said something that has literally stuck with me. Well, the show was only a couple months old, but from the beginning, she had said to me, like, when his name was Jacob, when Jacob had a good day and the house was a mess and he had mud all over him, I knew it was like the best day. I didn't worry about like there's shit on the floor, there's this here, there's this here. Like, it's true. If you just let them like be themselves and have fun and like you get down with them doing that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like again, it's what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take that sentence full stop. But I do think generally speaking, like that's a really cool piece of advice. Like if you're confident in yourself and you allow your kids the autonomy to go and be confident themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that connection is even stronger. You don't have to like wish for their love, right? Like
Don't go.
no, don't go. Don't
Go to
push
Bobby's house and call me.
you starting kindergarten is a personal attack to me. Like, none of that. Like,
I didn't. I mean, I didn't. It was, when they're growing older, and you'll see when you start seeing your daughter hitting like daycare and then kindergarten, you're gonna be like, oh. I mean, I never cried. There might
yeah,
be a day where I will if he
yes.
enters. It hurts a little
It
bit,
hurts.
but
It hurts. But it's what's supposed to happen. Like,
yeah,
they crawl, they walk, and you're like, okay, this is hard.
yeah,
But if they weren't doing it, it would be a lot harder.
yeah, exactly.
So
That's true. Yeah.
make that point. Okay, so speaking of, sort of upbringing and structure, the first time you and I met a couple weeks ago, you had said to me like, well, I'm a stand-up comic, so for an Asian, that's exactly what my parents expected of me. So I I always love to hear about like cultural differences. Like I said to you before, like I live on Long Island. My background, by the way, is I am Polish, Russian. I'm a Jew-ish, right? But I married an Italian and Irish person. I don't have any sort of whatever. But my upbringing is in this very small bubble of other like Jews from Long Island who eat a lot of bagels. So like a lot of bagels. So I'm always curious, like growing up Asian and what did that mean for you and how do you, let me rephrase, really great question asking. Personally, I parent in spite of my upbringing. I'm always curious if other people do the same, and I'm always curious where like the cultural nuances come into that.
Wow.
That's a pretty good question. This just got really smart.
That's a really big question. And I love that you're very interested in exploring other people's cultures, like not just like, oh, where you from, but you really, really care. Like you really want to learn about like how other cultures kind of come into play with their own parenting techniques and if there is any kind of difference, right?
Well, thank you. That's a very lovely compliment. It's true. I am curious. And the answer may be there is no difference.
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
But I think as a society, we sell ourselves short by
Yeah.
not asking, like, hey, you grew up differently than me.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
Mm-hmm. I actually love that question, Jess, because there is a very, for me, and I know a lot of my Asian friends too, if you grew up in a, let's say, a Chinese household, 100% Chinese parents, there was a very, there was a lot of rigidness, and there was a lot of expectations, and maybe some more extreme than others. I think I was in the middle. My parents were really strict with social activities, so I wasn't allowed to have sleepovers, go out with friends until I was like 13. I couldn't stay past out 4:30 p.m. I had to come home right before 4:30 or I'd be in big trouble. Um, we got punished a lot. We like got spanked, and there wasn't I think a huge thing was not a lot of talking. There wasn't a lot of communication. So I people always say, oh, you might say the wrong thing, or you might overpraise your son or daughter, and then they'll turn into assholes. But if or you might say this, and you might you might tell them that, oh, you're you did so great at baseball, you won. Oh, that's actually not good to say, because that's rewarding the output. And I'm like, well, you don't have to worry about me because my parents never talked to me. So I'm not damaged because they never told me like I was doing good, or that they praised me for building like a really cool science project. Never got told I love you. I never got hugged. It was very stoic. It was like the love, I think I know my parents loved me. But as a kid, you're just like the things that you need to really thrive as a child, you can't really voice it, but it's love. You can't spoil a child with love. It's validation. Like, I see that you're hurt. I see that you're mad. It was none of that. And touching affection, never got that. I still remember when my mom like would, when we crossed the street, she would have her hand right behind the nape of my neck, and I could feel like my skin. I was like, oh, don't ever let go. I love this so much. And then she stopped when we had our my little sister, who's 6.5 years younger than me. But I remember those moments where, because there were so few and rare, and they didn't want to come to my graduation. It was a lot. It's really weird when and then I'll go to like my white family, my white friend's family's house, and they're like, we love you, Alyce. I'm like, you don't
love me.
What? I'm not even your child. They hug me, and then they talk, they sing carols together, sing songs, and they go on big family trips together.
Like, white people are known for that, by the way.
White people do that?
Songs together. Yeah. That's like,
and I was always like, oh. And I've had like, I really like, I grew up in Canada, so I'm Canadian American, and I had like really westernized Chinese friends too, and their family. I was always like, wow, it's like the Brady Bunch. I used to say the Cosby family, but I'm now saying it's a Brady Bunch. And I was always so envious. And I would see dads like taking their daughters out and just having a regular conversation. And I never had conversations with my dad. Like, it was always like, did you eat enough? Good. You had a good day? Good. Like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was, it was a very dysfunctional uh, way of growing up. And I think that really helped my creativity because I was always kind of like alone, figuring out like, how do I get out of this situation? Oh, my parents just argued. How do I handle that? Can I solve it for them? So a lot of it was like, how do I solve conflict? And I'm a really good problem solver now, but I also like had to really work hard to kind of find myself, because I had to connect to myself with somebody to make me feel safe because I didn't feel the stability.
Well, so it's like that's so cool to hear about, right? First of all, but like when you look at parallels like between different cultures, my upbringing's not that different. Like truly, it's very interesting to hear. Like you're saying, like you kind of had to find yourself. It's like that whole inner child thing,
Yeah.
not to like take the mood down too much, but like until you can like, let's have a therapy session. But my therapist will be so proud. She watches the show. So, hey, Melissa. Truly though, like until you're able to connect to your inner child and be like, what do you need? What do you need from
Yeah.
me? Like
Yeah.
you can't function as an adult. So, I mean, it sounds like similarly, like you parent in spite of your upbringing, not your parents, and I don't talk to my parents, so whatever, but that's a whole other episode.
Yeah. So when you said that, like parent in spite of your upbringing,
yeah,
totally resonates with me because I actually think like would my mom do this? What would my mom do if this was the situation? And I almost like do everything that was opposite. And I also overcompensate. Like I'll say yes so often, like, can I do this? Yes. Mom, can you put this cardboard over my head and cut a circle and then like throw me up in the air? Yes.
yes,
Like anything to make you happy and make it fun. And then, I pay for it sometimes.
But you know what? You're going to ultimately not pay for it because they're going to be connected, loved kids. Like I overcompensate with love. Like I'm like, I can't love you enough. I also overcompensate with apologizing because like I was never apologized to.
Yeah.
I'm like, as an adult, like apologizing is important. Like if you do something wrong, you should apologize to another person.
Yeah.
So if I stepped on her hand the other day, she fucking won. I was like, oh my God, Lily, mommy is so sorry. And here's why mommy's sorry. So like, I get it. It's interesting, it's good. It works though. And it's going to end up working.
Yeah. Because the turnout is that you're a better parent.
Yeah,
if
so are
you
you.
didn't have that upbringing. And I really think I am a better parent because of that. So no, I mean, love my parents still. Like they did their best. And look at me now.
You kind of gotta, you gotta break the chain, break the cycle, break the chain, as Fleetwood Mac says.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. Well, listen. Speaking of bringing the mood down, no, I'm kidding. Let's bring the mood up. Let's talk about your stand-up because you're fucking funny. Like I've watched some videos of you. I'm like, this chick is funny, and like I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to who I think is funny and who I don't think is funny. Like I'll watch stand-up like this, like literally sit there like this. Like an eye roll on my head. I'm like, oh, look at how funny they think they are. Like, they're not funny. Like, how did you figure out that stand-up was your medium? Because it's really hard.
Two things. It's actually not as hard as you think, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I never thought of stand-up. I didn't even watch stand-up when I grew up. I watched like Carol Burnett and Lucy, like practical jokesters, like funny kind of like physical facial expressions. But I didn't really get into stand-up comedy until I moved to New York, and that was 15 years ago. And I wanted to be an actor, but I was so fucking lazy. I had these headshots done, and then I did like a half-ass resume, and I never sent them out. They're all in these manila envelopes. And my friend who was an actor, he's like, you got to get this, and you got to get these agency addresses, and then you label them and just send them out, even like if it's like hundreds and thousands, and never did it. And I'm like, why am I not getting any roles? You know,
Why
I
are
will apply to one online. I'm like, I didn't get called for that. I did like maybe 2 auditions and never got the role. And I was like, wasn't committed. I'm like, maybe I'm not meant to be an actress. And I was kind of realistic too. I'm like, I'm Asian. I'm a little, I'm older. It's going to be hard for me to be in Hollywood, right? So I'm like,
you gave yourself an out?
like, Alyce, let me be frank with you. This is not going to work out.
You're never going to make it because you're Asian and old, and you're never going to.
And your head is
send
just,
those out. Your head's too big.
your head's too big. It's like it's going to add 20 pounds on the camera. So no. And so I left that, and I was like, oh, I'll do improv because a couple of friends said I was funny. So I did improv. It was so fun. And then it got to the point where I'm like, okay, my 4th year in improv. And I was like, oh, I kind of don't like it anymore because everyone just keeps talking over me. And I'll just be like, I'm a total introvert. So I'll be like, oh, this is a good line. I have a good line. I'm about to say it. And then some ham will be like, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Rick.
You're like,
White
yeah,
guy.
and shut the fuck up, Rick.
Yeah, you just stole 12 lines already, Rick. And so I was like, okay, improv is not for me because I'm not extroverted and I can't jump out and I need to think. So I'm like, I'll try stand up. I took a class. I'm like, it's going to be really hard. Took stand up. And you know what? It's not hard because everything is scripted. If it's scripted, you're prepared. And you know what? You're not competing with anybody else. You're on stage by yourself. So you're physically by yourself. You're not competing with any other energy or body. You have your script in your head memorized. You just have to deliver it. At that point, it's up to the audience. And that feedback loop will keep you going. If you have a bad audience, you're going to have a bad show. If you have one or two, like 3 people in the audience and they're good and they're giving you like feedback, you'll have a great show.
We always say, like in theater, we'll be like, they're small but receptive.
Yeah, it's about the quality.
Full house and they can suck.
Yeah. And then after I did my first show, that's when I started to feel like, wow, this actually feels really good. And I feel like it was a little therapeutic for me because I could just say whatever I wanted and I didn't feel judged. You could just say something and just really exaggerate. Every joke has some sort of truth to it. And it was a nice release to be on stage. And then when you get off, you're just like, I can't sleep at nights when I do a show. Like I feel so high. So high, I can't sleep. Yeah. And it's the greatest feeling until the next day. Then you have to deal with kids.
Well, then you're exhausted. I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. What's your favorite joke that you tell?
Oh, I usually start with saying, hi, I'm Alyce. I got recently I had 2 pregnancy scares. One is 6 and the other one is 4. And then there's another joke I say about my husband. People love it. I'll save that for next time.
Oh, okay. I'll just look it up. Everybody, be sure to Google Alyce's big husband joke. We'll find it. You'll see her big husband joke. So talk to me about, you do this really weird thing. I've never heard anybody else doing this. It's called BYOB, not your own beer. It's bring your own baby. And you've essentially created like a safe space for comedy for moms to be like, I can bring my kid and it's fine.
Yeah.
What the hell is that about?
Yeah, so I stopped stand up when I was pregnant with my first son. I was going to open mics, and that's what you have to do when you're an up and coming comic. You have to go into these really dingy dive bars. Some of them are a little scary, and sometimes there's like 30 people. Most of them are guys, and sometimes there's like maybe 2 dudes. And so I'm like I'm waddling up to the stage. I'm 8 months pregnant. And I'm getting looks. Like it got to a point where I was very uncomfortable going into a bar by myself, being 8 months pregnant. And sometimes it was 100% full of just men. And I didn't like the feeling of it. And I didn't feel safe anymore.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, it's sad because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I've just stopped doing because I don't feel safe. So I stopped doing it. And then my son was born and it was all about baby and me, baby and me. I love being a mom. Let's do a yoga class. And 3.5 years passed. I had my 6-month-old and I was like, what's missing in my life? And I was doing other stuff on the side that was helping my creativity flow. But I kept asking myself what's missing. So I started going back to open mics. This time I wasn't pregnant, so it was easier. And I missed the feel of it. But nobody wanted to put me on their shows because I was so out of the circuit. So I'm like, if no one's gonna, and this is a general rule for everybody, if no one's gonna put you on a show, you produce your own show, you make your own show. So I created a show called Bring Your Own Baby because I felt like as a mom, a second time mom, I really wanted to nurture mothers. I love moms. Like I love kids, but I love moms. Like if I see a pregnant mom, I'm just like, oh, I love you. Like I just want to help you. And
Yeah.
it's because
Oh,
I
mom.
right. It's like
That's a
I
great
felt isolated
quality.
with the first kid and all I did was sing along classes and I didn't take care of myself. It was all focused on the kid and I lost myself and
Yeah.
I quit my career. Had a corporate job. I quit. And so I felt like, who am I? What makes me happy? I don't know. And yeah, so I thought, hey, if what can I do that will fulfill my passion for comedy
Yeah.
and also won't need to pay a babysitter? Oh, I can bring my baby to a comedy show, but not at nighttime. So maybe at 10:30 in the morning, right before nap. And then so I tried it, and the first place said yes to me, and that's called Word Bookstores, a local bookstore in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
Very
Gave me
cool.
my first chance, and they have a beautiful, cool, edgy stage downstairs, like a performance center. And first show, 7 people, 3 of them were my friends. They all brought their babies. Some were nursing their baby, and it's supposed to be that way, right?
Yeah.
Funny, a safe space, non-judgmental. Baby can poop and cry and no one's gonna bat an eye, and babies
Love
can
it.
come on stage and heckle, and I would bring toys for the babies and cookies for the moms. Like it felt so good, not just because I was performing, but because I was offering that to the moms who really needed it.
I love that. I think that is so freaking cool. And I hope that when all this nonsense is over, and I don't mean nonsense like it's a hoax because I'm not a crazy person. I mean nonsense that it's still fucking happening because all of you people who think it's a hoax. Anyway, so what I was saying is I can't wait till this is all over because my daughter and I will be front row center for Bring Your Own Baby because that is so fun. It's such a great idea. I love it. Like, there's all these like mommy and me and circle time and this and that, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, this is for the moms. And the
For the
babies don't know. They think it's awesome because all the moms are happy and they see other babies and there are toys and the
yeah, and
moms are happy.
hang
And
out
you
and
know what?
take a
Dads
chat.
come too. Dads come,
Love
nannies
it.
come.
I love
It's a
it.
good break for the adults. It's like if you can't get to the comedy cellar at night, you can get to the comedy show at 10:30 in the morning.
Love it. It's an untapped area and it's super smart. I love it.
Right?
And I have to ask because I'm curious. You said the answer is no, but I don't know if it's true. And I know your kids are younger. Do they think you're funny? Like, are they like, my mom's fucking funny? Or like, do they not know yet?
I I don't think they know what funny really is. I mean, I do remind them like, I'm funny, right? That was funny, right? So I don't know if they really think I am.
Okay.
I would hope that they do. No, I don't
No,
think so.
jerks. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, what, I'm going to ask them after this interview. I'm going to ask them.
Curious.
They'll
Yeah.
probably say no.
All right. Well, I hope they say yes. And if they say no, then get a good video of it and we'll post it as your
I'll
promo.
story it.
Yeah. Well,
I'll do the reveal later, okay, you
I
guys?
love it. I love it. Big reveal. So then I also want to ask you what's next, right? So obviously comedy along with theater and so many other creative outlets, we've hit a little bit of a roadblock right now.
Mhm.
Things are not as they should be, let's say. You've definitely pivoted virtually, like your social platforms are blowing up. People love what you put out there because you're similar, like similar to me. Like I'll share other people's memes because other people are so fucking funny, but like
Yeah.
I prefer to create my own. Like you create really good memes and really good content, but like ultimately what's next for you? Is it going back to live shows when you can? Is it creating virtual? I don't know. Like how are you using your powers for good?
My powers. Well, I do love the virtual shows right now. I'm continuing to doing some virtual shows. I think it's great because it's helping people get some comedy in, getting entertained in their own living room because you just can't go out. It's helping comedians release and doing their thing. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. I love the virtual shows. I think that's going to keep going. I do really miss the live interaction and the feedback from the audience. I've met really amazing mom friends through live shows, and I love connecting with the moms after the show. I would love to go back to hosting a live show again and performing. And I we did like a few mom events, and the last one we did, we had to cancel. It was a lot of the moms were asking, oh, can you guys do like a mom and like a date night so my husband can come this time? So we did it. It was like a after Valentine's thing. And we canceled on the morning, March 13th. I remember it was a hard call. I was like, oh, we're getting a lot of refund requests. What should we do? And my friend and I were like, oh, let's just make a call and cancel it. And I'm so glad we did. We made the right call, but we didn't know it was going to be our last show. We're like, we'll get back into it in June. And we're like, we're going to have a nice summer show. And, in January, I had a great event for all women. It wasn't just mothers, but it was an empowering event that taught about sexuality, but also I brought comedy in. So I'm using that comedy as a tool to
Yeah.
kind of loosen people up and to provide some entertainment and lightness to some topics that could be very taboo and very, some people get a little nervous and shy to talk about
Yeah.
sex, or and we brought in like one sex coach and tantric healer, one was like a pleasure device coach. And normally people would be just kind of like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? But if you do half an hour comedy, people are loosened up, a little wine helps too. And then everyone had such a great time. So it was a very empowering women event, and I want to do more of that. I want to do more blending comedy into events that could be of any topic. But I think humor is so powerful that you could apply it to everything, apply it to any event.
Totally agree. That's awesome. So be on the lookout because live events will come back. They will. They will. They will. I don't know when, but they will. So when they do, this is your chickie. But in the meantime, check out virtual events. So let's start to wrap ourselves up here. I'm so excited that you came on. This has been a blast. I have two final questions for you. So you have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. What is something you just can't live without as a mom?
I can't live without, I think they're water bottles.
Water bottles.
Yeah. My water bottle and their water bottle. As when they're dehydrated, they become nasty. Yeah. Just keep drinking water. Yeah. And when we go out, I always have their waters with them because I don't like using plastic cups. And now they're all saying plastic is bad for the ocean. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm raising good kids.
Well, that was a lame answer, but
no, it's not. I love my water bottle. My kid loves her cup. I gotcha. Okay, and look, a nice sip, very nice product placement, terrific. It's like a Coca-Cola ad. Congratulations. Last and final question. What is something you know now that you wish you knew before becoming a mom?
that that I would have pretty much like zero time for myself, and that it needs to be something I ask for, and then I need to ask for help. I need to
Yeah.
ask my husband, like, well, no, I need to tell him. I need 30 minutes right now, or maybe from 4 o'clock to 4:30, so I can exercise. I could feel better about myself, and I could be a better partner to you and a better mom. How's that?
That's a
I need to practice that. I don't I don't ask for what I need,
yeah.
and I
Sure.
run myself too tired and exhausted, and then I blow up, and that's
Yeah.
not good for me. Yeah.
No, I think that's pretty typical of mom. That's a great answer.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well, listen, thank you for being here. Where can everybody find you? Instagram, social media,
Instagram is the best.
website?
I'm there all the time, MomCom NYC, and my website. I usually post my events when I have time, but usually it's on Instagram. You can find me there.
Very cool. And thank you guys for tuning in. You are making this ride a super, super fun one. So keep
Thank
watching
you,
and we'll
guys.
see you soon. Thank you.
Hope to meet you in person.
For sure, girl. Come on.